across the country, you have these elections where, on crime at least, the electorate was going with Republicans. So imagine if Glenn Youngkin had decided going into the campaign not to spend the last, month, 2 weeks on abortion and this 15-week thing, and instead of going after Democrats on crime. Could that have been different? We don't know, but very possibly.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with commentary editor Conn Carroll. Conn, it was election night 2023, off-year elections, happened on Tuesday. The Washington Examiner did a piece on some of the lessons that can be learned from election night. So what were some of your top takeaways?
Right. So, off the top, it's hard to spin this as anything other than a bad night for Republicans. Right. So you had the Democrats win 2 huge ballot measures in Ohio, one on abortion, one on marijuana. And then in Virginia, they kept the Senate, denying Youngkin the legislative power he needed to enact his agenda, but then they also flipped the House. So these are all big losses for Republicans.
Right.
But there also was some silver linings, which shows that maybe if Republicans had gone in another direction, things could have been a little bit better. One was right here in Virginia, Loudoun County. You had a Soros DA who lost an election. You had the Democrat who lost the Democratic primary incumbent to this a DA who was funded by Soros. So then he flipped to the Republicans and ended up winning on that ticket. So that was a big win, beat the Democrats, the Soros-funded DA in Loudoun County. Then you had a very similar story in Suffolk County in New York, and then you had another one in Massachusetts as well. So you have, across the country, you have these elections where, on crime at least, the electorate was going with Republicans. So imagine if Glenn Youngkin had decided going into the campaign not to spend the last, month, 2 weeks on abortion and this 15-week thing, and instead of going after Democrats on crime. Could that have been different? We don't know, but very possibly. The other kind of big takeaway is when you look at Kentucky, where you had a Republican candidate that people thought maybe could win, Daniel Cameron. He ended up losing because of abortion. But also, if you look at, he was endorsed by Trump and embraced Trump.
Right.
But if you look at that same state, same night, you had an attorney general candidate who specifically rejected Trump and rejected his 2020 conspiracy theories. And he ended up doing great, won by 20 points. So you can see if the Republican Party kind of moves away from engaging on or, making abortion the issue, and instead engaging on crime, inflation, other issues, and stay away from Trump, it really does look like a path to victory.
There's been some competing takeaways from Republican commentators about abortion, some saying Republicans aren't running aggressively enough on abortion. They're letting Democrats sort of define the debate, and others who say, let's stop talking about it. They don't like our positions. Let's just, focus on something else like crime. Where do you think, how do you square those two views?
Yeah, I think when you look at Ohio, and Democrats are going to try to replicate Ohio. So they've already said they're going to do the same thing that they did in Ohio, have a ballot measure in Florida and Arizona and Nevada. So they're going to try that and try to export it. But when you look at the wording of the Ohio resolution, it was particularly vague. They even the New York Times complained about how vague it was. So that's to the advantage of the pro-choice movement, is to have stuff that they can put out on the ballot and say, look, Republicans are against exceptions for rape, against exceptions for incest, like that, and just paint them as extremists. Republicans need to go on the offense, and not in the sense that they need to go to 6 weeks or lower, but they need to, pick a decision, define it, and make that clear as to what they're for. Because then when they let Democrats define what they're for, they're going to lose again.
Well, Conn, thank you so much for being here today. You can get more writing from Conn and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.